Hello, my kiddos. How are you? Some of you are so sad because I'm not here today. And the other ones get to watch this when I am here. So, you are the lucky ducks. All of you do have to watch this video, however. So, today we are working on examining the effect a speaker's words have on the overall speech and purpose. So, we're going to click here. So this is where you're asked to watch my mini lesson video, and here it is. So we're talking about author's purpose. Well, what is purpose? When we set out for something with a purpose, that means the reason why we're doing it. So as we embark on our research for systemic discrimination, what is the author's why? Why are they writing the facts that they are writing? So let's click on that really quickly, and this is available in Google Classroom as well. So, an author's point of view refers to his or her position on an issue, or in other words, the author's opinion or beliefs regarding an issue. So, for this instance, we're working on systemic discrimination. Some authors may have conflicting points of views or opinions about controversial issues such as discrimination. So, which side is your author leaning toward? When authors favor one side of an issue, they are said to have a bias in favor of that side of the issue. And some authors may claim that they're unbiased and are neutral or objective. So that's their point of view. That's the way that they're looking at something. That's their position on it. So their point of view is going to help you understand the author's focus from last week. Now let's talk about author's intended meaning. The author's intended meaning is what the author wants readers to understand, even if the words appear to be saying something different. So this could be sarcasm, or this could be an underlying message. So a sarcastic tone, for example, can change the meaning completely. The author's intended meaning, you'll understand more clearly once you understand their focus, so their stance on the issue, as well as their purpose behind writing the text. Let's talk about author's intended audience. The intended audience means the people the writer has in mind as the readers. So the intended audience could be a specific person, a group of people, the general public. So as we talked a little bit about in class, if you were reading an article that was pro Joe Biden and it was written from a Democratic news editor or a news journalist, then their intended audience would be fellow Democrats. Now, if you had encountered an article that is pro Trump, and it was published in a liberal paper, which is generally in support of a Democratic candidate, then they know that their intended audience is a group of people that are against their beliefs, and then the ways and means that they go about trying to prove their point may alter a little bit. Let's talk about their tone. The tone refers to the author's use of words and writing style that conveys his or her attitude towards the topic. So are you ever text messaging and someone misinterprets your tone because they can't really read into the tone through the words? This often happens many times in literature as well and in nonfiction writing. So tone and purpose go together, right? The words and the writing style that the author chooses, which speaks to the tone, will match the purpose, the reason why they are trying to write this text. Ask yourself what the author's voice would sound like if he or she had spoken the words rather than written them. The edge. In literature, point of view means the person whose eyes the story is being told. The author's tone helps you understand the author's intended or real meaning. There are many words that can be used to help describe an author's tone. And remember, tone and purpose go together. So there are specific words that the author's choosing that will help you understand the purpose behind the author writing it. Author's purpose is the why they're writing it. Author's focus is the what is their position on it. So don't confuse the two. Also, don't confuse a description of a topic with a description of the tone. A sad topic can be presented in a neutral tone. Be specific about who the intended audience is. Do not say the intended audience is the readers. Tell who those readers might be. So as we embark today, we're looking at author's purpose. That's really where we're going today. So we're focusing right here. How did the author specifically choose certain words or certain phrases that help them with the why? Why are they writing this? Right? That's their purpose. The what they're saying is the focus, so their stance on the issue, and the why they're writing it is from for the purpose, excuse me. So let's look at this purpose chart. So we're focusing specifically on articles and passages this marking period. So let's look at the right-hand column. An author's purpose could be to give facts, to inform, to make clear, to teach, to persuade or convince, to show similarities, differences, cause and effect, to explain, to demonstrate, to prove, to give an account of something, or to develop a setting, an idea, or a character. Many of these might seem to overlap for you. For instance, the first two, to give facts and to inform, those are pretty similar. Either would be okay to write as the author's purpose as long as you can defend your answer and work that evidence into your argumentation as to how it's clear that the author is giving facts or informing an audience of something. So keep this column in mind as we move forward when we're talking about authors' purposes. Remember, we're reading nonfiction text about systemic discrimination. So a lot of it will be from this column. All right, let's keep going. Let's talk about denotative and connotative meanings of words. I do want you to watch this YouTube video. This is a YouTube video linked right here that's also available in Google Classroom. But I just wanted to give you my quick take on denotative versus connotative. Denotative is going to be the dictionary definition of the word, right? D and D, they match together. Dictionary definition, denotative meaning. The word is what it is. You're going to take it for surface level meaning. Now, when you're talking about connotative meanings of words are going to go along with emotion. If you are a Spanish speaker or know basic Spanish, as I do, then the word con means with. These words are going to be coupled with emotion. If you are not native to Spanish speaking, then you can also look at the word co, which reminds you of couple. There are a couple of things that go along with the word. It's not solely the dictionary definition anymore. This is meant to evoke some kind of emotion. Let's think about the difference between home versus house. A home has a connotative meaning. A home is meant to evoke emotions of memories and warmth and family and love, while a house is solely the dictionary definition of a structure within which somebody resides. Denotative are going to be straightforward, to the point dictionary definitions of words. Connotative words are meant to evoke emotion. When we're looking at the author's purpose, we want to look at what kinds of words did the author choose to represent their purpose. They're definitely trying to evoke some kind of emotion because that may link to their purpose. If they are solely giving information and they are having a neutral tone, perhaps they're only using denotative words. This is where you're going to be able to reach that 4 on that rubric, because you're going to be able to note the difference between denotative words that the author might have used versus connotative words that will help you speak to the author's purpose. Let's look at what you have to do today. Words and context. So after you've watched that YouTube video that we just talked about, go ahead and put your own definition of denotative versus connotative. And after that, I want you in these 3 boxes to demonstrate that you have watched this video. I want you to write, I love Wissinger. Yes, it is that time of year that I need some love as well. I love Wissinger. Please put it in those 3 boxes, and that will show me that you have watched this video. After you're done with that, go ahead and move on to words and context work today. You're going to watch 2 YouTube videos today, and you're going to identify the author's purpose of the speech. So the why, right? Linking back to this chart, the why. What are they trying to do? What's the purpose of them giving these speeches? And then I want you to specifically focus, excuse me, on the words or phrases that I chose for you. So for instance, in this video about looks aren't everything, believe me, I'm a model, we're going to talk about systemic discrimination against those who are actually too beautiful for society. I want you to revisit the video at 6 minutes and 12 seconds. And here I want you to look at the word construction on a deeper level. Then also I want you to revisit the video at 8 minutes and 53 seconds and look at the phrase unpack a legacy of gender and racial oppression when I am one of the biggest beneficiaries. I want you to examine those words. How are those words being used? What's meant by those words and phrases? How do they impact the speech and the overall purpose? Do they help the overall purpose? Are they denotative words and phrases? Are they connotative words and phrases? You tell me, but go back and look at those specific words and phrases and talk about the implications or the effect that it had on the speech overall. After that, scroll down and watch the video Teens Experience Ageism Too. The link's right here. Again, identify the author's purpose of the speech. Remember, this is the why. Why is the speaker giving this speech here? And then go back and dive into the video again at 1 minute and 2 seconds and 3 minutes and 15 seconds and examine the implications of these phrases or words. Talk about what was meant by them, what effect did they have on the speech, and what effect did they have on the overall purpose. Be sure that you're practicing to answer all parts of the question. Remember, provide textual evidence and also be sure to expand your answers. The longer your answer, the more likely it is that you've attacked all aspects of the question. Last thing to make sure that you've watched this video, scroll all the way down. And there's a box right here. I want you to go ahead and put the number 1 in that box. If you don't have I Love Withinger or the number 1 in that box, I will know that you haven't watched the video for the day. If you haven't watched the video, you're going to get your work returned to you and tell you to follow directions more closely. Remember, marking period 2, one of our goals as a class was to follow written and verbal direction. So it's super important that we do that. After you're done with that, you have to move on, please, to your independent work with a digital air form. This is where you're going to research a chosen article on whatever form of systemic discrimination that you've chosen for our research paper for this marking period. These articles can come from anywhere, the Hartford Courant, they can come from the New York Times. Just do a basic Google search and you should be able to find it once you've solidified your choice on systemic discrimination, which you should have done last week. Before you leave for the day, make sure you do an exit slip where you do your words and context rubric self-evaluation. That'll be up in Google Classroom for you to do. Next class, if you're in the half-day schedule, we're going to work on informative and explanatory writing. And if you're not on the half-day schedule, and I'm going to just see you next class, then we're going to talk about rhetorical language and devices used that also help fulfill the author's purpose. So a lot going on to help the author's purpose, so you know how very important it is. For homework, make sure that you find an article for next class so that we can continue our digital air forms. And so you don't have to, you will alleviate some of that time searching along in class and you'll already come ready with that article. Okay? Let the teachers know if you have any questions.